Aqua Greens has almost 100 locations in Florida that have our product on their ponds. The businesses here, they do rely on revenue from their aqua range, and they also, the golfers need the target greens. You get a hurricane come through and wipe out 10 or 15 aqua ranges, that's a lot of work. Hurricane Ian came through and really just caused a lot of problems for almost 30 aqua ranges. So yeah, that was a big storm, and I don't want to say we've lived out here, but we sure have spent a lot of time here getting all those courses back up and running. As we've been removing the greens from the pond, the smaller greens here, and they're not small, but the kidney green and the circle green on both sides, who knows which storm, but definitely the hurricanes have broken all the anchor lines. And at that point, the greens are under the influence of 70, 80, 90 mile an hour winds. They're getting pushed and bashed against the bulkheads. And when the greens are under a lot of wind load and they're hitting up against, those telephone poles pile driven into the pond, those poles do a lot of damage to the sidewalls of the green.
There was a lot of skirting that needed to be replaced, floats that got damaged because of the hurricane. And it was at a point where it was more of an eyesore, and that's not the type of thing we want guests to see. So we knew we had to do something, and that's why we kind of had those three options of fixing them and refurbishing them, or replacing them with smaller islands, brand new ones, or just getting rid of them.
Back up.
We had to think about cost, we had to think about the guest experience, which is what's important to us. And a lot of our guests, they like our driving range, our aqua range, where they get to hit balls at floating targets. We took that into consideration. Because of all that, we decided to have Matt come down and basically refurbish all of them, make them basically brand new, so we could have the same sort of experience that our guests expect and they enjoy.
So the process to get these guys back up and running really began with a trip here to confirm all of the measurements underneath the green for where the floats were placed. Once we got back on site, we were pretty comfortable starting the project, having updated engineering numbers. First thing we want to do is get the green to shore. So we send the guys out there to pull up all the old anchors, make the green so that it's movable, and tow it over to the shore. Once we get it to that point, it's an involved process of unbolting the sections of the green. It's built in sections that are assembled here on site, so what went together has to come apart in order to work on it. So we went underneath the green and unbolted a segment, which is on land now. And so that's the next step in the process, is to carefully move that piece to land. And once it's up on the ground, dry ground, we can clean off the underside and get to work on checking our flotation, making sure that everything underneath is in sound condition. If there's any aluminum repairs from storm damage, we have the welding equipment running. We can make those repairs as we go. So really, once the flotation is addressed, we then turn our attention to replacing the wood skirting. If there are any problems with the top surface, we have removed the carpet. So we're really looking at what's underneath the carpet, all of the pressure treated lumber beneath that. So if there are any issues there, occasionally we've seen a couple of distressed boards here and there, and we've replaced some of the plywood. All of that gets weather sealed. So by the time we get to replacing the skirting and the flotation and repairs, that piece is just about ready to go back in the water. So it's an involved process, but very doable. But we've got to get the green out of the water to execute all those changes. Once all of the sections are removed, repaired, and put back in the water, we will go about the process of bolting everything back together to turn it back into one large island green again. And at that point, we would reinstall carpet. So we have rolls of carpet here, and that would be the process of cutting the carpet to fit that green, and then beginning the infill process, which for that larger green is a really involved infill. Right around 13,000 pounds of sand. It's a lot of sand. The big green, the Hurricane, the 40 by 80, yeah, we can get maybe 10 people on there, and we're gonna need them. That's a lot of sand to infill. Once we have that process done, we'll install the cups. And at that point, yeah, it's ready to go back out there. We tow it back to the middle of the pond. That unit has 18 anchors on it. So we'll go around the entire perimeter of the green, dropping very, very large, heavy-duty boat anchors. But you get a big storm and you got a heavy green like that, you definitely need a lot of holding power to make sure that the frame doesn't break. You want the load on the frame during a storm to be even and distributed. And you know, that's really what keeps it from moving during heavy weather, and also to keep the frame from breaking apart by putting too much pressure and get too few anchors. We could put massive anchors and only have 4 or 5 out there. The frame may break apart from that kind of stress.
After looking at what they've done so far, the management team is extremely happy that we decided to go this route with refurbishing them. You know, after these last few years of having the hurricanes come through and beating them up, it's nice to see, you know, remember what it was like for so long before the hurricanes, how beautiful they are.
70-mile-an-hour winds in Florida are common. You know, you get a huge storm and people are just eager to get back to normal. We can at least get their driving range up and running. I mean, some golfers are just dying to get out here and swing the club. And so if we can at least get their range running, I think that it means a lot to the clients to know that they can call us and get that service. And I know that, you know, the golfers are standing there waiting for us to get out of the way so that they can go and hit. There are a lot of companies who try to do the aqua range business. Aqua Greens is the only company that will design, manufacture, deliver, and install product. But then, you know, several years out, when a company is facing the maintenance interval, we're available to come back and bring a crew on site and do that work for them if they want us to. So that's a big part of owning the product, is that, you know, it's low maintenance, but it's not no maintenance. And so, you know, if they need the help though, I think a lot of them really appreciate that they can call us and we can come back and provide that service for them.